I muted that channel.
Yeah. Wonderful. Cool.
Can you change your name
can
back?
See what I'm looking at?
I like the roll stealth check.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
you like change it back to roll stealth check?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm here.
You want me to change it back? Why?
I don't know.
I mean, I guess. Alright. A lot of you fucking watching.
I can
watching
mute
an
the stream,
Xbox
right?
ad.
Dude, should we like
Oh, I'm
Devin
fucking
in
watching
here, or
ad.
just
Mute
wait,
the
should we mute your
fucking-
stream
mute
or
the
Devin?
stream. Mute the stream.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'll be talking like a while back.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all are gonna be seeing what I'm talking about like a second or two later. So actually deafen here, and then or some shit, and just undeafen when you have questions.
Okay.
All right, fucking cool. Hey Doge, how's it going? Alright, fucking okay. So this right here is the match between Excelsior and Shock. It is map 2 on King's Row. Basically, what the fuck is happening is this is the best engage ever done in double barrier, and I'm going to talk about it really slowly, and then at the end of me talking about it, I'm going to play it at full speed, and you're going to see just how fucking fast this engage goes. Alright, so they're going to come out, Sinatrá's going to get spawn rocked. It's funny every time, and I've watched this about... I've literally watched this engage about 100 times, and I laugh at Sinatraa getting hit every time. Either way, so the way New York is set up here, because this is important, we've got 3 right here. Our Sigma is up top over there. Libero is currently fucking off over here. Having watched this a million times, I honestly have no reason why he's in that room. And then SVB is up over here on that mini. Basically, what New York is planning for here is they're like, okay, fucking Shock is gonna come in, they're gonna do a pull punch, and we're just gonna pull back. Oh, why is this not work? Is this not working?
It's working. What do you mean?
Twitch doesn't agree with my college's Wi-Fi. Here, fucking Rainy. You can watch either on Twitch or on here. Either way, doesn't matter. Choose one. You can watch on Discord should you need to. That goes for you as well, Rainy. Okay. Did you go live again? I'm both live on Twitch and on Discord. I don't care which one you choose. Just like choose one. Basically, so New York is planning here on Shock engaging with pull punch, and at that point, New York is gonna pull back, let them throw resources in. Can you unmute on here too, please? What? I'm not muted on Discord. What? Rainy, you can unmute yourself and just talk. I don't know what you're trying to tell me. Whatever. Okay. So. Yeah, they're gonna get resources, they're gonna pull back, and then from there they're gonna re-engage hard and just run through Shock. Shock, however, does not do this. Shock fucks them. So I'm gonna play this normal speed right now.
I can't really hear anything.
You can't hear anything. Where? Like, you can't hear my voice? Sky. Sky.
Oh, there we go. I'm dumb. Sorry. Okay.
Okay. Wait, you can't hear my voice. Can you hear it?
I can now. My thing was just messed up.
It's on Twitch, and you can't hear my voice on Twitch?
Oh, I'm not watching Twitch. I can't watch Twitch. It's good now. It's good now.
Okay, whatever. It's just different. Whatever. Okay, cool. So, Shock doesn't do that. Shock fucks. So Shock's rolling up here, and the second they hit choke is when this engage starts. So at this point, they're looking at fucking New York, and they're trying to see, like, what's being run. and they're going across to this left side because they're taking a brawl fight, and so they don't want to deal with all of that open space, which is a second perfect choke that they're going to have to run to. So they start going on this right side here because it's an easier brawl to take. At this point though, Shock looks at the fucking team and they see, hey, there's 4 of them right now. There's only 4 right here. There's no DPS, and so their plan changes immediately. So instead of going around, you see them, they're literally looking to go that way, and then they stop and come back and go up. Fucking, okay, at this point, Smurf pops his shield into Mono's shield and throws pull. And that pull is just controlling them and keeping everyone in the space they want them to. So, Smurf has an aggressive shield at this point, which means he can actually push through it, and it's protecting his team as they engage. With your Orisa barrier does not exist for Orisa. Orisa barrier exists to protect engages and give a safe space to fall back for Doomfist, Reaper, a little bit your Sigma, and then a little bit your Moira and Lucio. It's mostly there just for your DPS to fall back to. Other people like will argue with that. That's the best way that like I have to explain it and to like tell you how to use this barrier. So they use this barrier to cover their engage, and then the second they step through it, Chiobin becomes main tank. And Chiobin becomes main tank because Chiobin has the better abilities to help push in, because Smurf has used barrier and they need the Orisa Golden right now. So Chiobin's going to step through, and what he's going to do is he's going to put his barrier about right on the corner of this building, and then he's going to press rock and walk through it. And what that's going to do is it opens up a ton of space and it makes him a threat. And so they have to react to it, and the best way to react to it is by pulling back. And they have to pull back because Shock is 6 people right now, plus a moth that's like just hanging the fuck out above everyone else. But they're only 4 because they put their DPS on angles. I still don't know what the fuck Libero is doing over there. And SBB hasn't even realized what the fuck is happening yet, and the fight's already started. So Chiobin's gonna push through now. He's gonna throw his barrier right on that corner, and then he presses rock and walks through it. Honestly, this rock isn't like so much like we're gonna put this Sigma on the ground and then we're gonna kill him. This rock is to make space for his team and to help their engage. And the second he throws this rock, he goes back to being off tank, and you watch him rotate back behind Smurf again. At this point, New York has realized what the fuck is happening, and they've realized how much space they've given up so quickly. Mono, though, wants to hold this space, and so he pops Golden because he wants to hold it on that corner of the point. The entire team, though, is still focused on what's going down. He also notices Sinatra pressing punch, and so like that's part of the reason he presses gold. From there, SBB is almost like finally about to get in the fight, and Libero is also finally about to get in the fight, but it's still taking them a second. So Smurf pops through. There's the punch. Uppercuts and falls back to his team. Smurf sees Libero coming in and presses Golden because he's protecting his team. He even like honestly like positions in a good spot to where the only person that can be punched by Doomfist is Smurf, and then he's just gonna stop and not go anywhere. Like there's no one else that people can get. Violet even fades because like he could technically turn and look at Violet and punch them, so Violet fades out. Also plus the damage orb. Striker is just over there hanging out. SBB still isn't even in the fight. So like Shock knows that they're free right now. They can just take all of this space. And the second Smurf has pushed Golden, you're gonna watch him use that Golden to like hold this space and then take even more, because Smurf can't die. He's pressed his left shift. He's only taking half damage. He can't die. SBB has finally showed up. The problem with this though is he showed up directly into a Doomfist. As Sinatra was coming back, he saw SBB coming in his backline, and so he just decided to take that fight. And so that's exactly what he's doing. Striker isn't even taking a flank. He's literally just existing to help his team push in. And then Violet goes, heals the team, and then immediately turns to Sinatra. Doesn't try to do DPS on SBB. They're just healing Sinatra and keeping them up so that Sinatra can take care of it. And so that no one dies.
My barrier is destroyed.
Turns into some damage. The second Sinatra has their abilities, Violet goes back to doing damage because they don't need to protect Sinatra when they have abilities to protect themselves. At this point, Mono's gold on the other side of the fight, Mono's gold ran out, and so they had to pull back and give space because otherwise they would have just died. And at this point, Meko just tanks for their Orisa, steps in front, presses left shift just to make sure like they don't die. And then Smurf decides that this space is now theirs because he throws his barrier right there. And at this point, they're not doing an engage anymore. They're holding this space. Shock has become the defending team. And so by putting his barrier here instead of here, Smurf has told his team, 1, this is where we're holding. This is our space now. And 2, like, fight behind this. Sit right here. And so Sinatra has his punch. SBB is going to fade out of that because he has to. Otherwise, he'll just die. Striker is a little bit on the edge because he's just shooting around the barrier and putting pressure on Meko to like pop that left shift and pop some resources. SBB just goes back to his team. Meko tries to push forward a little bit and give his team some protection with that barrier, but like it doesn't matter. So you see there they do a little bit of a pole slam, but like not a whole lot of one. And it doesn't really matter right now because Smurf is about to have gold again. And so even if Libero came in, it doesn't matter because Smurf has golden and can just step in front of him. Libero right now, he just used his abilities, he got back to his team, and then he went through here to take this angle because it's a super short place to go from into the team to over there. It's a really small triangle, and so he doesn't need the protection of his team to engage, and so by going over here he takes some pressure off of his already super fucking pressured team. So they do a little bit of a pole slam, they put some more damage in. It's really honestly not that big of a deal. And then they just hold this space. Like Chiobin even goes in left shifts for Doomfist so that he doesn't die. They go in, there's a healing orb keeping everyone alive, and then Chiobin turns and sees Libero. At this point, he just takes this punch, because it can't kill him, because he's protected by Smurf, and like, at most, he's going to fly here, which like, is fine. So he literally just takes that punch, and then it doesn't matter, because Violet is right there, there's a healing orb on the field, and there's a barrier and a Smurf in front of him. So like it literally just doesn't matter that he takes that damage right there. If anything, it just charges his healer's ults faster. Libero has to go back to his team. And then this is the fight that matters right here. So they put this Sigma barrier up because they have to hold it. Mono like goes back to contest this space because he has to. And the Shock don't really have all the abilities they need to deal with this. Just because of the fact like they just put a lot of pressure on. So they give Mono this corner for like a half second before they decide to push back in. Then the second Smurf has shield again, he puts it in his shield and then he goes forward. This is where Shock loses. Literally this moment right here. Because New York wins this fight and they win it with about 2 ticks left on the point, or like with 2 ticks full on the point. And the reason they lose this is because they go for a pole punch. So Smurf is going to throw this pole, and Sinatra's going to punch at it. The problem with this being, Libero has just used one of his turns and is going to be up in about 2 seconds. Whenever you go in and do a full, like, either punch or slam in, uppercut back to your team, you've become useless as Doomfist for about the next 3 seconds. And so Shock takes that time to engage. Libero, though, is using that time, that Shock, like, is using his downtime to get into a position where he can make a play happen. And Shock, by going for this pull punch here, is going to leave a huge opening. So they go in. There's the pull. There's the punch. Mono decides he wants to hold some space. And then Smurf presses Golden because they're pushing in. They're doing a pull punch and they have to support Sinatra now. And so because of that, Smurf presses Golden. The problem with this, Libero is up, which means they have a Doomfist punch. And the place that Sinatra will be going back to, because of this uppercut, sends him into a perfect spot to get punched from this doorway, which is exactly what happens. And none of his team can help him because there's no resources left on the field that can counter a Doomfist. The only thing they could do in order to counter this Doomfist is if, like, Striker stepped in front of it and then somehow, like, pulled this punch to where instead of being punched into the car, he got punched over here and he wouldn't have hit a wall. That's not what happens, though. So Sinatra punches in, he uppercuts out, and the entire team pushes in. Because they just did a pull punch. You have to engage off of that, or else you're either 1, your Doomfist dies, or 2, you've wasted resources for no fucking reason. Alright, so at that point, Sinatra comes back out, Striker is looking forward, and Sinatra lands directly in front of a fucking Libero punch. He even sees it, he can't do anything about it, and then he dies. Libero goes on to get a 3k here. Striker is teleporting into their backline. The entire team is engaging right now, and there is no resources to stop Libero. Literally, the reason Shock loses this fight is because they pull punch. Had they not done that, they would have won. Because there was literally nothing Excelsior could have done to engage on the way Shock was doing with their resources. Had they simply sat on point, taken some of New York's resources, and then re-engaged, like, actually at a right timing, this would have worked perfectly. If they were going to pull punch, they needed to do it the second Libero was, like, eating back to his team. That's the time to do it. The problem is Mono would have had gold. So, like, they literally get out Mono's gold with this pull punch and then engage off of it, but there's nothing to be gained. They're already off of point. Shock already has point control, and they've gotten out Mono's gold, which means they can't engage on them. So long as Smurf uses gold when they push in, it's free. But they go for a pull punch instead, because that's the combo, and that's what you use in this meta. And that's what everyone's always been told. Libero goes on to kill their Doomfist. At this point, Jonak's been losing, which means Jonak has Coalescence. Whichever team is losing is going to get their support ults first, because they're doing more healing. So Jonak, seeing the fact that they're 1 up now, literally just pops Coalescence, and then SBB is like, oh shit, it's time to go. He teleports into their backline. I'm trying to find the exact spot that he teleports to. I can't see it. That's okay. Meko has ran into them pressing left shift, and Mono is running forward as well. They pop this Coalescence. SBB turns, they see Striker in their backline, it doesn't matter, he has to Wraith. SBB teleported up top there, and he's falling back, he's in their backline. Libero continues to just have free push, because there's nothing that can contest him still. And then New York literally just runs back through Shock here, and they win this fight. This fight was literally free for Shock up until they did a pull punch.
Wholly predictable.
As Sigma says, wholly predictable. The moral of this story is that, 1, pull punch is not just like, it's not Halt Hook. Like, there's no reason to just use it because it's off cooldown. You use it to make things happen. And you use it either 1, to start your engage, or 2, to fuck their engage. If they run into you and use pull punch, and they don't get anything, because guess what? You have an Orisa that can press gold. Well, if you've gone in and you've pressed gold to support your Doomfist, then you can, or like if the other team has used pull punch on you and they're engaging on you, you just press gold and you block it, and then the other Orisa has also pressed gold because they're trying to protect their team on the engage and they're trying to support their Doomfist. Guess what? You can pull punch and go back into them now because they don't have any resources to stop you. There's no reason to just watch the cleanup because Moth just fucking dies, and then guess what? Striker dies too. Like, cool, Shock dies. They lost the fight. I'm gonna replay this now at full speed, and you're literally gonna see like how fucking fast this engages, because it's actually ridiculous. This engage starts now. And they've taken point control. Literally, that's how fast the engage was. It took 6 seconds. The point of this being, press fucking W. Like, seriously. Put your Orisa shield in their Orisa shield and run through it. Once you're through it, if you have 2 choices. Either 1, press gold, or 2, your Sigma becomes main tank. If you're pressing gold, then it needs to be because either 1, there's a Doomfist on the other team and he's punching at you, or 2, because there is no Doomfist and you're going to push into them harder. If you're not doing that, your Sigma becomes main tank, they throw shield into the other team, and then they press either rock or left shift and continue the push and keep your Orisa alive. Because your Orisa will die if you don't do anything for them here. Is there any questions off of that? Please have questions.
So would an effective call for like me to tell Kevin to like go ahead of me, just tell Kevin to like switch with me or something?
Yeah. You literally tell your off tank to face tank. Like, you can just tell him like face tank for me, or like step in front of me. And then
Yeah, you just go and say, like, you just go and say, go in, and I'll be like, all right, cool.
Yeah, or like switch
And-
or whatever. And then the second like your rock becomes to its end of its duration, or left shift comes to the end of its duration, you need to step back behind your Orisa. Your Orisa becomes main tank again. Because like you're not like forcing the engage, you're supporting your Orisa engage by keeping them alive. If that makes sense.
Okay, but so we engage with left shift, but then what if there's like a Reaper behind? So I mean, we can't really engage because I feel like suck is a really situational thing if you're using it for engage. Like, I would say 80% of it's for Reaper, and then 20 is engage.
If
Yeah.
there's a Reaper behind you, you only need at most 2 people to deal with it. If Reaper's behind you, by logic, he has no healing. Unless his
Right.
unless his Moira has thrown a healing orb at him, which means the rest of the team doesn't have healing.
Mhm.
Fucking, it's beeping at me and that's annoying. Stop that.
Yeah, but let me just
We're just gonna back it up 20 seconds so it stops
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
beeping
yeah.
at me. There we go.
There we go.
And then, like, literally, in a perfect world, all you need to do to deal with a Reaper in your backline is a Reaper and a Moira.
Do I deal with Reaper or no? Because I
On
feel like I
engage?
should.
No.
Okay, engage.
If your team is
defense.
if Reaper is in your backline and your team is running into your team, you need to help your Orisa first. Once you've helped your
Okay.
Orisa get into position, you can turn around and shoot at the Reaper. But like, for how quickly you're doing this engage and how quickly it should be done, you don't honestly really need to like. You're not spending a whole lot of time in front of your Orisa. You're spending at most 3 seconds.
Right.
And that is plenty of time for your Doomfist to either look like you're not playing to kill Reaper, you're playing to get fade out of him. And so that's either
Mhm.
like a Doomfist punch, or like you just get him low, or like your Reaper duels and your Moira like heals your Reaper every once in a while. Because like you can literally turn, heal Reaper, turn back to the team, heal them, turn, heal Reaper, turn back to the team, heal them. Or like just throw a healing orb for your team, give them all a pre-heal, turn and help the Reaper.
Yeah.
Like, in a perfect world, you don't need 5 people to turn and kill the Reaper. You need 2. Now, like, if you're done helping your Orisa, like, if you've pressed your left shift or E, you've stepped through the shield, your Orisa's become main tank again, then, like, yeah, turn around and shoot the fucking dude in your backline. But, like, that's not your job. Your job is to help your Orisa, and then once you're done helping your Orisa, your job becomes peel. As
Okay.
off tank, you have about 87 jobs. Number one is support your engage. Your Moira or your Lucio should have the awareness to hear a Reaper walking up behind them and then move. Your Reaper has Fade, your Lucio has Speed Boost. Your Lucio, honestly, should be up in the air fucking anyways. So like really the only people that Reaper can go after is a Doomfist, a Moira, or a Reaper. And if they die to a Reaper, then they need to work on their awareness, and that's their problem.
Gotcha. Every time I'm behind Doge or something like that, and Reaper teleports in, the first target he locks onto is like a big, tall Sigma.
Mhm.
So
If
yeah,
there's a
so he's
Reaper
shooting
that's
at me.
if there's a Reaper that's like locked onto you before anything else, then press left shift, and like be at him. Like
Yeah. But I need POs like for myself. I probably need POs as well because one of my left check's gone. Two, my rock's not gonna hit him. It's just gonna Wraith out, right? So
Yeah.
I'm just not used to
if
rocking.
honestly,
Yeah,
if
but
you
so I'll need.
if you trade your rock for Wraith, you've used your rock correctly.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
you've done a good resource trade there. Wraith is a vastly more important resource than rock.
Okay. Cool. Because if the Reaper doesn't Wraith out, I could
If he
just
doesn't
rock
Wraith
a
out,
free.
you can just
That's a
kill
free
him.
rock, but then free rock, he doesn't die, but he Wraiths.
Yes, Bryson, you do. Because this is important too. Yes,
Right.
the tank play is important to this. However, like you do so much to support this engage. If you saw, literally fucking Sinatra got the gold out of mono. Like you need to be supporting the engage and your tanks need to be supporting you. If you're punching in, your tanks should be going in. If your tanks are going in, you should be punching in. Engages is not just a tank thing. It is ran and started by your tanks, but it is an entire team endeavor. Like the reason fucking Striker didn't teleport into their backline was because they didn't know where SBB was. And so he knew he was going to drop behind them, and then Striker could be there to fucking shoot at them. Like you don't need to always just be in their backline as Reaper, because like if you don't know where their Reaper is, then get rid of their Reaper, and then you can take a fight. Or you can just assist, or you can like literally just assist the engage and run with your tanks. You know?
Like I know I like the idea of reviewing Overwatch League, but like their level of play is way better. If there's a Reaper constantly flanking, that type of stuff doesn't happen in Overwatch League, but that happens sometimes in our matches.
Yeah.
And
So then
Flanking Reaper.
like then you adjust. Like y'all are smart people and you understand this game. If there's a Reaper constantly on your flank, then you need to run it differently. If there's a Reaper on the flank, then run the fucking engage with your tanks and don't throw your Reaper into the other team's backline. Save your Reaper with your team. And just like have your Moira be smart and position well. And like honestly, just be in a spot to where they won't be the first thing Reaper sees if they jump off a high ground or come through an alleyway.
What if we counter? So what if we just focus the Reaper first, and then once the Reaper races out, then we go and initiate.
Because the team is down if a Reaper is in your team. Your
No.
Moira.
So we like turn on him first, just so we can get his Wraith out, right? But we don't engage just yet. Like hard defense. I don't know.
If you're doing like on defense, you mean doing that?
Just me in general, just like Reaper flanks. Like if he flanks too much and he's getting value out of it, what if we just turn it onto him first, get his Wraith out,
If the Reaper is actually making value on the flank, then yeah, do that. But like step one, if you notice, hey, there's no Reaper in their team, then that means there's 5 of them and 6 of you. So go and take that advantage. If like a DPS is on a flank, by logic, they're late to the fight. And you have like a 2 or 3 second window where you're gonna be in a 5v6. Like even SBB, one of the best fucking hit scans in the league, it took him a hot second to get to the fight. And his team lost because of it. Had Shock not thrown that, they would have capped the point in under a fucking minute. Are there any other questions on specifically this? Marvelous. Where is the VOD channel? There it is. Twith Gamer. Maroon plus Nimbani. We're gonna VOD this shit.
What? Are you talking about when I was we're not talking about that one game, right?
Which one?
I really hope not.
New Umbani?
We're not gonna VOD review specifically Nimbani.
No, we're not talking about. Okay, which Nobani though? It's not the one we just meme the shit out of it, right?
No, we're not doing that one.
Okay. When did we ever play Nobani?
When is the one when we actually get a fucking team in? Here we go. Okay.
Wait, are we VOD reviewing our matches from last week or?
Not matches. Google. Go to Twitch because Twitch will show you the way.
You gotta work that arm, Bryson.
What? Oh.
You gotta work that arm. Did someone really call you out for that, dude?
Yeah.
Did it? Oh no, that's so weird.
It's because I triple headshot.
We're gonna be reviewing some of your comms. We're also gonna be just reviewing straight play here.
Are we doing like hog pool thing?
No, double barrier.
Fuck double barrier.
Double barrier. Run double barrier. I'll run fucking white. Who just left? Oh, we're cool. Never mind. Into the matches this weekend.
I can hook Sigma with
Break it down.
Okay.
just go in. The resist shield's there. It's a 10-second thing now.
Oh, this is fucking useless. Because it's goddamn me trying new meta. There's some
Do we have
actual
our-
fucking
Do we have our stuff from last week?
like the match.
Yeah,
Yeah, let me
'cause
fucking
I feel like that shit was pretty good.
yes.
Wait, we won against a team that was a bit higher SR, but we lost against a team that was lower SR.
What the
Right.
fuck?
The one
Yeah,
that's
we lost
around
against like a
Sunday.
Masters.
You
team,
lost
right?
it. I mean they had some GM, but yeah, you lost. Cool. We don't have comms for you on this one, but like that's fine. Here we go.
Oh, we don't.
Oh, this is only the second match because stream was fucked at Jordan. You don't need the audio because it's just casters. Fucking Twitch. Gonna go this thing away. Okay. So. Oh no, we're still preparing. Here we go. Okay. I tried to move around like it's goddamn League player. Fuck me. Okay. You're playing this, and you're playing this because you're on King's Row and you want to freeze them as they come through. They are playing Dive. Do they go out on this? Are you fucking serious?
I don't think they did.
No, they went out on Ryan Zarya.
Yeah.
They ran out on Ryan Zarya double fucking sniper. Oh no, they switched to. God damn it! I'm just gonna let them leave spawn and then I can fucking talk about what they're playing. Okay, there we go. That's a somewhat actual comp. So they're playing Ryan Zarya into your double barrier, and you have a Lucio, which means they're useless because you can just kite back and get out all of these resources from them, or just freeze them at choke, and then run into them. If you freeze them at choke and you cut or wall at choke and you get one or two, then just run into them because you have advantage. There's no reason not to. If you don't manage to get a wall here, just back up and speed and shoot them as they come in. Like if you can see them here, just shoot the barrier, come around. If they speed boost, you speed boost. Take their resources and then go into them. Because they're running brawl. They want to fight you and just pop all of their resources at once and murder you. So don't take that fight. Like, they're technically a better brawl than you are. In addition to that, your barriers don't really matter quite as much. So throw your Sigma barrier at the Hanzo. Because there's no reason not to. Like, what are they going to do? Rhine swing at your Sigma barrier? It doesn't matter. Just throw it at the Hanzo. Alright.
It could block the Zarya.
I mean, if the Zarya is any worth at all, they're running through it. Okay, so they pop through. You don't get this wall, which is fine. Fish has decided to throw because he's up in this team. Be with your Orisa. There's no reason you need to be all the way up here. You do get a wall off right there, which is fine. But like you don't need to be right here to get that wall. You can do just as much value from back here where you're a lot safer. Had you missed this wall, you would have insta-died, which I don't remember if you actually end up dying or not here. You don't. So cool. You go on this Rhine, which is a fine decision. Like it's fine. Like May might have been a little bit more useful there, but it's whatever. The only problem with this is you're playing behind this barrier still. There's no reason to. Like, one, your barrier doesn't really do much for you in the comp you're playing against, and two, you've split the team, and you've at least made them use resources to get to you. So take advantage of that. Like, this Rhine is frozen right now. The entire team should be running and killing him. But he gets out of it because you don't run and kill at him. In fact, you're not even all focusing the Rhine. Your Doge is looking at Zarya. Your Kevin is looking at Zarya. Everyone else is looking at Reinhardt. Just choose a fucking target, like, honestly. And that target should have been Reinhardt because Reinhardt was frozen and there was only 2 people over there, whereas there were 4 people over here supporting this Zarya. Now that the fucking people are over here, and the Zarya is alone, and they've all used their resources over here to save their Rhine, push on the Zarya. Which y'all still don't do. You tunnel vision on the Reinhardt. And then, like, the team just shifts around and pulls away from you as you try to shift that way as well. They come back around, they have a full punch. Lucio doesn't know how to wall ride. At this point, like, you've cut the Rhine off. Please push on this Rhine. And you do so pretty well. Your Doge tries to fight a Hanzo. Don't do that. Be aggro on the fucking split people. Like, guide your team and take your team in here. Either one, you need to, like, your DPS need to follow you, or 2, you need to support your DPS. Like, you need to be doing both, to be quite honest with you. At this point in time, you need to be supporting your DPS. There's no reason to duel this Hanzo. This Hanzo's not doing anything to your team. Go kill the fucking Reinhardt. God, what the fuck is this specking? Oh, god damn it. Already seen all of that. Alright, yeah. You finish that fight. Well done. And then you pull it back. That's fine. I'm not going to rush you for that. You're being pretty safe about it. Alright, they're coming in, trying to guide. Fish has still decided to frontline. Stop. You are not the front line. You are May. You can do just as much value from here that you can from here, and here, Hanzo can one-shot you. Like, if you're standing there, then a good Hanzo will just murder you. If you're standing here, you have a barrier to keep you safe. Okay. They push in, you get the wall, you run at the Reinhardt. You match their coalescence, which is good, and then from this point, you're just in a basic, like, front v front fight. And you've used your Doom ult as well. They're looking for Shatter here, obviously, because it's second fight with a Reinhardt, and so he's pushing into you trying to charge that Shatter. If he's pushing into you trying to charge Shatter, that means he's being aggro. Sure enough, he gets it off of a swing, and then he's gonna fucking pop it pretty soon, Healy. And so, like, the decision y'all need to do here is, like, kill the fucking Reinhardt. Because he's gonna just pop Shatter at you if you don't. There's no one else on this team with an ult that's a threat, and y'all's ult line is all really fucking high. So focus this Reinhardt, which you do end up doing well. Yeah, sure enough, he just shatters your team. But you do manage to pick up the kill, which is good. From here, you just need to go into the team. Like, literally just engage on this fucking Zarya right here, because all of your health is fine, and they've used resources now to get to you. They've used that...
Can you back up 20 seconds?
20 seconds? Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to see how it went. Yeah. So then, we won that fight, didn't we?
I'm pretty sure you win this fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they pop that projected to get to you as the wall goes up. So focus Reinhardt, which like y'all do well. They all use their mobility to get past you, and like the second they're past, they pop Coalescence, and then you match it, which is good. Reinhardt comes in. Yeah, honestly, you doom ult him, and then he dies. This wall is cutting off your own team. Like you did it to save them from the shatter, but like now that the shatter isn't a threat, and I'm pretty sure he didn't even catch anyone other than Wei, like you can just run into them. Like, yeah, and sure enough, you do drop it. They continue to run into you because they're dumb. It's a good pull. Make sure that like your rock hits your pulls. Honestly, in order to
for something else.
Yeah, I mean rock your pulls. Like there's no reason not to. And in order to help with that Doge, make sure you're calling the location you're pulling. So like right here. We're gonna wait a bit. Call you're pulling this Orisa, or call you're pulling this Zarya, or like pulling right side of point, because then Kevin can just rock it, or your Sigma, or like your Doomfist can just punch it, or something like that. When you're up, going against this comp, just pull punch them, because there's no reason not to. Like, there's no golden you have to get out. There's no like barrier you have to worry about. They're trying to run into you, and you're trying to as hard as possible to keep them from doing that. And to just get out their resources so that you can run into them. Yeah, you've gotten out projected and Wraith once again. So like at this point, you can just focus targets. Gabby, we're gonna roast your positioning real quick. Where are you when you die? God dang it.
She's on the wall, dude. Right there.
Don't frontline. Like just don't. Be here. Be on this corner right there. Not right here. Because you dive into them and then you die. Because you're in their backline when there's no reason to be. Like, 1, don't Lucio duel Hanzos, they shoot logs. 2, don't Lucio duel Reaper, it's a Reaper. There's no reason to Lucio duel a Moira. There's no reason to Lucio duel another Lucio. There's no one here to Lucio duel. None of these people matter if you boop them into your team, because either 1, they have mobility resources, or 2, like, they can just live. And your team's already running into them super hard. So all you're doing by being here is making yourself a target to kill. Like, I absolutely support Pepega Lucioing, but there's no reason to do it right now. If like there was a Reinhardt right here, and you thought that you could like boop them and then like wall ride back to team, then I might support this. But there isn't a Reinhardt right here. And as a result of this, you just die. Yeah, you literally land in the middle of 3 people right here. If you hadn't died, I would have roasted the other team. Like, this other team isn't, like, honestly playing super well. Y'all just, like, don't know how to match it. And, like, you didn't have a good attack, actually, is what happened here. So we're going to talk about that as well. You wall off the Reaper, which, like, okay. Like, those I would honestly just, like, say that you took a successful resource trade there. And then they run into you. That was an exceptional fucking play by Doge and Kevin. I don't even think you coordinated it, but it worked out wonderfully.
No, we did.
Of like, put your Orisa on this corner, gold as they come in, and lift them all up.
That was totally coordinated. Honestly.
Cool. Because like, I don't have your comms, which makes this harder.
Yeah,
but
no, because I remember Doge said, all right, they're coming in. And I'm like, I'm getting ready. Oh, or like I'm gonna. And then
that was an amazing fucking play. Like, it really just was. Because you put your Orisa on the corner, you held the space, and you basically told the entire team, hey, run at me, while the rest of your team backed up, and you made them all group up into a perfect fucking circle. That is an amazing play, and I will tell you you did well on that. Nicely done.
No one died.
Run into them, please.
Oh, yeah, also died.
Yeah, they just... Eing in as Doomfist right now is a bit of an F, because that Doomfist punch takes so fucking long to charge. Like, you can do it, But like, it's a lot safer play just to punch in right now, because E. Oh no, what? I thought he tried to punch back. What the fuck happened to Kevin or to Sam?
He E'd back to us and he died.
I want to look at that one more time.
He punched him.
Punched in.
Yeah.
Okay. He decided to take a detour onto a fucking Moira. Don't take detours. Especially when there's a Hanzo standing, or not a Hanzo, a fucking team standing right next to you. Like, in, out, back to the thing. If you're going to punch people, it's after you uppercut them. Because you're in the air and a moving target that's very hard to hit. And you can just, like, immediately turn and go back to the team. Don't walk towards someone punching, making yourself the easiest target in the world to shoot at. Yeah. Reinhardt is the target here. You force him to be fucked. And at this point, you force that sound barrier. Which, honestly, you're even. I'm not super surprised they used it. This would be a wonderful time for you to pull again and for your Mei to press Q. Because then you stop their engage. Or honestly, you don't even need to pull. You just need to put the ice like right here. Because then they can't push into you and they've wasted a sound barrier. Sadly though, your fish was continuing to try to front line. Stop doing that. You can literally get the same value 2 steps away. Like, if you've got them walled off, then great. Like, your team's going to run in and help you out there. Don't take a fight away from your team as Mei, because you're just going to die. And now you can't ult. And like, you needed a good Mei ult here. Sure enough, Reaper just runs into your team. Gabby. Okay, you also lost this fight because of ult tracking. If you know they have Reaper ult, then put your Lucio around a fucking corner. Because then they can start casting it halfway around the corner and land before they die. So they can actually keep all of you alive. If you know they're coming in with a Reaper ult, put your Lucio behind a corner. Or put your Lucio like up on high ground. The line of sight forgiveness on Lucio ult is 1 second. So you have a really long time to make it work. Like, it's a lot. It wants you to ult and hit those people with sound barrier. So just do it. But like, don't be in a space where you can die when you know they have ult. If you didn't properly ult track this Reaper, then you've lost this fight because of ult tracking, and that's another problem that we need to deal with. And at that point, like, you just lose the fight. Honestly, you lost this fight because of this person. Like, you needed to use this Mei ult in this fight. That's not me trying to be mean. That's just like, focus on like what matters in this fight. The second thing you could have done to win this fight is ult tracking and have this person hide. You also needed to have your Doge engage more, because had they actually engaged on that Reinhardt a little better, your fish wouldn't have died. They would have been able to get back to their team a lot easier. Or had you popped Coalescence when they popped Sound Barrier, which, like, sure, there's nothing else in this comp that your Sound Barrier is really good for other than just engaging on them, then, like, you also could have kept, like, your team alive as they pushed into you really hard with Sound Barrier. It's all just, like, decisions you can make that need to be done. The moral of the story is, 1, push in harder and protect your team. Stay a little bit safer. Make decisions quicker at your supports. So you lose point here, which is fine. Like, you honestly have a pretty good defense time. That's just like average defense. So you're pretty even right now, and they're on a bad comp to push payload. So I wouldn't worry about it, especially with how like you didn't use ults that fight, and so you have a good advantage here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which one do I not see here? I don't see your Lucio. They're probably coming back from spawn. As a part of that, try to hold them at this archway right here with a Mei, because it's honestly one of the strongest chokes in the game, and you can full out hold them for 4 minutes at that choke. And if you don't manage to hold them at 4 minutes at that choke, oh well, you have another fight at least, and you might have two. Like, if you're real quick about it, you can take a fight here, you can take a fight here, you can take a fight as it comes in, which is a lot of fights on streets. You managed to punish the Zarya that pushed in a little bit too hard. Nice. Your Lucio actually is here. You have 6. Hold them at fucking arches. Especially because they have 1 on cart right now, which means they're down 1. So push into them. Yeah. You managed to kill that. Drop wall. At this point, just run fucking through them. I'm pretty sure you actually do manage to hold this choke pretty okay. Yeah. Like, your defense, honestly, like, you lost on the little things on defense. Your attack was, like, one of the bigger issues. Yeah, you pull back to this choke. This coalescence is good because it keeps your team alive as you lose one and they come back into you. They match it. That wall is huge because it splits them a little bit. The casters are throwing because I can't see what's happening. And then you do Mailed on point. Mailed is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful ult for keeping the entire team from running into you. It's awesome. Because if they run through it, they lose. If they stand there and watch it, they lose. And their engage is wasted. Either way, it works. Here, you do the thing, you mail it on point, and then you pull them all into it so no one can leave. And then you just run through them. That is what you should have done 1 fight ago. Like I told y'all before, I'd rather have you ult more than less. So long as you call it and say what you're doing, I can always like tell you about the decision later, but it might save a fight. Okay. They come in. You get both of their fucking...
Try Sigma, yeah.
Yeah, you get both of their barriers out on engage here, which means they have nothing to deal with this Sigma ult. Sure enough, you lift the Rhine up, but you get grabbed. At this point, your team is the one with range. Theirs is not. Shoot at the Reinhardt. Like, honestly. You're all just focusing different people, though. Like, your Mei is here. Your Doge is on Reaper. I don't know what Sam's doing right now. You're over here as well. You're both on this... Like, you're on Lucio. Fish is on Zarya. Lemon is whatever. Doge is fighting Reaper. Focus the target. Like, honestly, you need to save your Orisa right now, so maybe kill the Reaper. If you get Wraith out of him, then you can probably turn and kill this fucking Reinhardt as he falls. Because he's about to be, like, basically dead, assuming he doesn't die right now. And he doesn't. So you can turn on this Reinhardt super fucking easily.
It's really hard because we got grabbed, and then like nobody can save Doge. You know.
You got grabbed, yeah. And honestly, like, the way you save Doge is your Lucio, who's somewhere back here, but I can't see him because Spec can push him off. Or, like, you, instead of shooting at the Lucio, can shoot at the Reaper, who's, like, directly behind you. Honestly, he was the same distance away and a lot easier target to hit. And you're still looking forward. You're pressing left shift right now, even as you're getting sound barriered. Which, like, if you didn't know you were getting sound barriered, then either 1, Gabby needs to say it, or 2, everyone needs to turn Gabby up. Like, honestly. Continuing to fight this Zarya, who's at full health, rather than the Rhine, who's at 1 health, and has Earth Shatter. Like, kill the Reinhardt. Kill the Reinhardt. If you know he's up in the air, then when he comes down, regardless of like what he was at when he's up there, he's going to be easier to kill than a fully health Zarya, who has their team with them. Reinhardt was the easiest person to kill here. Like, and then you just get Earth Shattered because like Reinhardts are always gonna Earth Shatter, like with something around Grabs. If the grab doesn't kill all of y'all, they're gonna Earth Shatter after it. If your team, like if their team is grabbed, they're gonna Earth Shatter during it to keep you from pushing into them. Reinhardt's, all of their fucking shatters come with grabs. Or like if there's a grab, a Reinhardt's gonna shatter with it. Just as a rule of thumb. And you all get snap. Fish is in their team, and no one is noticing. That's nice. Dang. Wow. Yeah, it literally took them a full 5 seconds to notice you there. Stop playing in their team. You're playing Mei. Sit with yours. Mei is not a hero. We are going and fragging out. They're not Tracer. You exist to protect your team from getting pushed on. Like, that's literally your job as Mei. And at this point, you're down 2, so you need to be leaving. And yeah, you just die on point, which is a totally reasonable thing to be doing. Okay. At this point, you have no ults other than Coalescence, and they're pretty stacked across the board. It might make sense to you just to take a dry fight here and give space for fights. I'm pretty sure you don't manage to make a decision though on what to do here, and you don't recontest, or if you recontest, you do it poorly. Or I might be getting you mixed up with other scrims that I've watched this week. Cool. No, yeah, you actually have a wonderful fight here. This wall needs to be there because there's a Reaper right here. But like it's fine. All you're really doing by putting it there is cutting off their engage. They do switch to Sigma Orisa here. So now you're playing what you know. So run into them. Like you even do this pull here, it's going to get them exactly where you want them. Honestly, there's no reason that your Doom shouldn't punch into this pull. Because like you're already going in. Your Sigma is actually in a wonderful spot to take over this push. Your Fish is still up too far. The rest of your team is in good positioning. I don't know where Sam is. Can I? Yeah. You coalescence your engage. Awesome. Because like honestly, if you lost this fight, you would be giving up point. It makes sense to pop it. The goal here, the win condition for this fight is to get this person ult and to have them not die. So by putting your Mei in front of their barrier, or behind their barrier in front of your tank line, you're not doing that one thing. Because that's how you're going to win this fight. They pull back a little bit, thankfully. Y'all, like, have a weird time when you just stage here right there, though. Why? You have a coalescence. None of you are going to die. Run into them. Like, just run into them. If you're dying a little much, tell your Lucio to switch to heals. Or press your left shift, or step back behind your Orisa. The reason you die here is because you spent a lot of time in front of, or like about to die at least. I'm pretty sure you die here. I don't know if you fully do or not. The reason why you do is because you spent a lot of time just in front of your Orisa, not really doing anything. Orisa is a lot harder to kill than you because instead of 200 health of shield, Orisa has 200 health of armor. You don't die there. You should have. Reaper comes into your team and is going to press Q. Had you not been so far out and pressed left shift for not dying, you could be pressing left shift on this Reaper right now. If you ever see a Reaper wraith into your team, he's going to press Q at you. He is. There's no other reason for him to do that. Or if he doesn't press Q, he's throwing. So just throw a rock at him if you've already used your left shift, which you do, but you do it late. He wastes that ult because you focus him well, which like, well done. The second you see that Reaper press left shift and go into your team and fade into it, just have a rock, like time it to where like the second it ends, you're throwing it. Because like you know where he's gonna end up. He can't exactly pop over wherever. And you know what he's about to do. Alright. You're going through. That wall is fine. Doomfist is coming in. Okay, things you can do about this Doomfist ult right now. You can throw a barrier at it and put the barrier right here at Sigma. Or you can just run away. Doge, you need to be stepping behind this barrier to be like on the other side of it, which I don't know if you do or not. You don't. Step behind that barrier. You have a Mei wall right here. Nothing is going to kill you. By staying in this area, you're just getting hit by the Doom. and you can step behind that barrier and still do exactly what you're doing to him right now. Your Mei is choosing to 1v4. Don't do that. You just put up a wall to split and stop their push. So why are you jumping over it to go into their team when you can be killing a Doom that your entire team is focusing? Be with your team. Yeah. Doomfist punches in, he gets out. You mail while your entire team is pinned by this Doomfist. Wait until the Doom gets back to the team or dies. By mailting right now, you're not really doing a whole lot. Because, like, they're not really in a position where they can push into you. Their Coalescence just ran out. Their Sigma is low. Their Orisa is low. Their Lucio is low. And they're not low. Oh no, Lucio is sound barriering as I was. That's why all of these are so long and like so not filled. So like just let your team deal with this Doomfist before you ult their entire team, because your team can't follow up on this right now. They sound barrier, you run into them. Doomfist walks into it for some reason. And then the sound barrier saves everyone but the Sigma. This wall works. You need to be killing Orisa right now. As I was, you need to be killing this Doomfist right now that's in the middle of your team. I legitimately didn't notice him. And I'm thinking y'all didn't either, because... Does Kevin shoot at him? Nope. No one notices him.
No, he just jumped in. Like he just really fast. It was really quick. Really not. Wait, I just go and say, "Yo, kill the Orisa" or something like that.
Nope.
See?
He existed in your team and no one did anything about it. Like, through all of that, he literally walked in, punched uppercut, slammed into your team, and no one looked back at him. And you focused this Orisa. I mean, you win this fight, but like, you win it because the Doomfist doesn't manage to get any value out of that, while he very much could have. So like, I'm not gonna roast you too much because like it works, but like whatever. Y'all push up to their spawn. Yes, good, thank you, love the aggression. Don't take a fight right here, because the payload's all the way back there and it can be easily be capped by the time you get back to it. Which you do actually realize, and you back up and you give them space. Actually, no, you don't, because you put an Orisa shield down. So you're taking a fight right here. You put all of them up. Doom does it good. Like, you're doing fine in this fight. That Sam needed to wait for a pull, because I'm pretty sure he ulted just to ult onto them, because he's not at low health at all. So wait for a pull. Go in, do your fuck, go up in the air. But like, even if you punch pull, do a fucking bunch of shit, hit the ground, like use all three of your abilities, hit the ground, shoot 1 or 2 shots, and then press Q. If you stay up there for 3 seconds, Orisa will have a pull for you. If you stay up there for the full 4, she definitely will. So just wait for the pull. Or you can even start your thing and Orisa can like hit pull as you do it. And she can just pull onto the location you're doing it. You just need to make sure it's coordinated. Don't end it early if you don't have a pull for it. Because like, you're already winning this fight anyways. You don't necessarily need a Doomfist on the ground. Okay. Your Mei there had the right idea. The team was not communicated with this idea though. You can call line up on middle column, like line up on middle column of Mei wall, and then the entire team gets there and you wall your entire team up, and then you can just take the fight. Or you can just call focus middle column, everyone shoots it, and then you can just walk through. Either one of these work. And you do both of them though, and because of that, it's a little bit slower than it could be. You pop your coalescence to match their coalescence. You take another fight at this choke. Again, good, but you're getting C9'd. Or you're getting back capped. And you're getting back capped like because you're taking a fight this far up. One of your people go back to deal with it. Oh no, dude, I don't know if you send someone to go deal with it. I don't think you do. You just get back capped, and the second you notice it, your entire team starts running back, and then you leave your doge out to die, and so he does. Just don't take fights that far away from payload. Like, winning the fight doesn't matter if they just cap the object or like cap their payload before you even notice. You take a little bit of a fight right here. Like, you honestly, had you not just got back capped on this map, you probably would have won this defense right here, and you probably would have stopped them from capping second point. Because like you were winning that fight, and you were winning all of the fights coming up to it. You even won like a fight that you really shouldn't have by just charging the male properly and then reacting to a Reaper properly. All right. For being honest, they should VOD review this map too because they need to do a lot. Put your Orisa shield in there, Orisa shield. Like, just do it. No reason not to. At this point, you do need that male actually. As I was, never mind. Sigma goes up. Good, actually. When you do that, though, put your Sigma shield out. Give yourself some cover. And then once you're done, like, using
Wait, normally, though... Oh.
What's up?
I forgot I had you muted. Wait, did you stop at the right point? Oh, whenever you say to put, like, the Orisa shield in their Orisa shield, like, when we're that far away, I don't think we should do that because they're just going to walk past it and we have to cover way more ground. Like, we can't.
Then you need to be using your Sigma shield to engage.
Yeah,
Like, use your Sigma shield to cover, not your Orisa shield. Your Sigma shield cooldown is 1 second. Your Orisa shield cooldown is 10. One of these is more worth than the other.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay.
You need to have a Sigma shield. Like, that's honestly a good spot for it. Male comes in, their male comes in, you can't coalesce it. Can you? You can. It just it gets popped a second late. It really honestly does just get popped a second late. And you don't have a good angle on this fight. Like, you go around, your team is split, and you decide to mail it anyways. Like, that wall goes up long before you mail, and it split your team. Their team isn't split, and so they can react to this a lot better than you can because of that. The reason this coalescence comes out so late is partly because of that wall. Because they can't heal you during that time, and so they didn't charge it fast enough. This fight was literally decided on seconds. And part of those seconds were the fact that your Moira couldn't heal you. And so your Orisa or your Sigma dies, your Mei dies right after. If your team can't capitalize on your ult, when it's a crowd control ult, do not use it. Because it won't matter. It's like if Zarya grabs a person by herself, it doesn't matter. If you mail if you mail a team by yourself, it doesn't matter. If you earth shatter a team by yourself, it doesn't matter. Because those ults exist for your team to capitalize on it. So if your team can't capitalize on it, don't do it. Yeah, you trade coalescences. At this point, you should just be leaving. Because
I
like
have
this.
a question on that real quick.
What's up?
So like earlier you were talking like use a male to stop their push.
Mhm.
Would I not want to use it if we're split to keep them from pushing into us?
I mean, you can, but that's not how you used it.
They were all on the other side of it. It was just the Orisa that was in front. Like both
Yeah.
of their DPS and supports were behind it.
The thing is,
they all got out, and then
their
there was, like,
entire
3 in
team
there.
is out of it, and they can
Yeah.
support and kill you. Your team cannot. So,
Okay.
like, they may ulted. They popped wall. You popped your May ult. They actually used their May ult to stop you from pushing into them.
Okay.
Like, your May ult already wasn't great because your team is cut off, and then they used theirs to stop you. So they did the thing you were talking about of like, oh shit, my team has been like fucked with. I need to pop this to protect my team.
Gotcha.
And then it also like, yeah, it just works. So they did the exact thing you were asking about, actually. That's a good example. I like that. Alright, so at this point you should just be leaving. I don't know why your Doomfist decides to go back in. He has ult anyways. Does he have ult before he does that? Yep, he does. No reason to do that. Like, he's just feeding the other team 250 ult charge by doing that. Wei actually manages to contest pretty well and just stall it pretty well. Nicely done. I don't know why you switched to Afara. because you're on stall at this point. Like, this is a stall fight. Like, you're not going to win this, to be quite honest with you. Because you're down a support by the time they hit. They have tank ults, and they have a Sigma ult, and you don't. Like, you don't have a support ult to counter it. They have a support ult to counter you. So you don't win this fight. So you're on stall. Like, I would honestly have called stall the second Wei died. Because you're not going to win this. And honestly, even if you do win this fight, it matters. Like, pushing the payload here versus pushing it to here in overtime is literally, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's so similar that it might as well not matter. Because, like, if you cap this in any reasonable amount of time, they're not going to get a second push on point 1 anyways. And if you, like, getting it to here is not harder than getting it to here. Getting it in overtime here matters a lot more than getting it here. Just because, like, it's not that much distance. It's not that much time on your end. But, like, it does matter a lot to them. Getting it in here with 20 seconds is a lot different than getting it there in overtime. Because if they have 20 seconds, no matter what time they cap it at, or you cap it at, they get another push. If you cap it in overtime and you cap with at least a minute, they don't get another push. So if you get them to overtime here, you're setting yourself up to win a lot, like, more successfully, I guess I would say. So you need to just go stall in this case. Yes, keep your ults. Don't switch to the Far Mercy. I don't know if I called that or you called that or who called that. Whatever. I'm VOD reviewing, like, the calls itself at this point. I don't really care who made them. So yeah, you should be in stall right now. Yeah, you do fine with that. But yeah, you just send a Doomfist in and then he dies because they have a Mei. They kill your Sigma because your Sigma was pushed up really far into their team, which, like, half of that is their fault, half of that is Doge for not pushing in with you. And at that point, they just out ult you because you don't have anything and they do. I do like the Bastion. I don't know if they cap in overtime or with 0 seconds. They cap in overtime. I have actually seen a cap in 0 seconds that wasn't overtime. It was weird. Okay. What time is it right now? Does anyone know?
8:30.
8:30. Oof. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna... This one takes a lot less time. Or your attack takes a lot less time. Yeah, it's about...
Because we suck.
You don't do it great. Yeah, you scout them with Widow. Good. Alright. We're running Renzari now. Cool. You know they're running a Mei. You know they're running a Mei. You literally just ran the same thing into them. So if they're running a Mei, don't choose the path that makes it easier to knock you off, or, like, wall you off, or if you get walled off matters more. Choose to hide from around this statue. It's a better engagement anyways. Like, it's not really that big of a deal, it works out. Oh, whatever. Okay. You're pretty much just, like, congested right now, which is fine. You're honestly, like, all doing about the right job. This is the one, or, like, your first loses here, and I'm pretty sure they lose because of mechanics, so, like, that's fine. This is the problem, though. And this is why, like, the second you know they have a Mei, your barriers become for a different purpose. They don't exist to protect your Rhine from dying. They exist to protect your Rhine from getting CC'd. Because that happens if you don't barrier, or if you don't bubble them. And, like, your Rhine needs to be just as aware of the fact that they're not getting barriers to protect their health. Now, with that said, if the Mei is right here as you engage, instead of over here for some fucking reason, then yeah, Just barrier your Ryan as he loses armor. He's gonna need it anyways. The May's already shooting at him. Doesn't matter. If there's no May, you know the May's gonna come in and freeze your Reinhardt. They just are. So you need to be able to protect them from that. Whether that's like you face tanking them with your own barrier, you like barriering them later, whatever. You also use both of your barriers at the same time here, which like don't. Generally, I would say it's a better idea to use your barrier afterwards, after you use the one for Ryan, because then you can cover him a little bit.
I wasn't expecting a May wall there. I thought we were just gonna push in. I'll bubble first, and then like we try to get someone on the May wall, but May wall instantly goes up.
Okay.
And then and then Dodges is there getting shot at by 3 different people. So I'm like, all right, I gotta bubble with him.
Okay.
It's not complete. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's no hole there. Right?
Yeah, that's reasonable. Like, cool.
Yeah.
This May wall could be a little bit better, but like, okay, this May here doesn't really exist to wall chokes. They exist to wall in the middle of their team and get a split on them, and also to help like push in and get a brawl. Because if you're brawling properly, you're just in there swinging and you want as much cleave damage as possible, which is why you're running this May. By putting a wall right here, you're making it a lot harder for your team to push, and you're actually cutting off point access for your team. Honestly, the second this wall goes up, y'all should have gone around this way and taken the fight here, because like you can't push into the team with a wall right here, and you're not gonna get this Orisa because there's a hole right here, and she doesn't walk through it, but she does press golden, and then no one manages to do anything about it. Had you gone back a little bit, you would have been able to deal with this Reaper as well. But like you should have gone to the right or to the left, I mean, or your right screen left anyways in the first place, because it's just a better place to push from. It just like you don't get caught in quite a tight of a space, and it's a lot harder to May wall you. All right. You switch to Orisa. Perfect. Okay, that's the second time Reaper's done that. So you know he's going to be up there at this point. I'm gonna just give it to you this time because like if he doesn't once, that might have just been where he was starting for the first fight. So like it's fine. At this point though, you should be aware that he's going to do that every single time. Whether he actually does that or not, I don't remember. But like you should be aware of that fact, and you shouldn't go out there without checking. Regardless, if you're going to go up there, be aware that that's a place Reapers like to hang out, and check it before you start jumping up there. So you lose your Lucio. At this point, you can't engage, and you need to just go back to spawn. Stop. Don't sit right here. By sitting right there, all you're doing is letting yourself get poked, and you can get pulled out. Just go back to spawn, or like sit like where your Doge is right now, because there's no way you can get pulled or poked at right there. All right, you go in. Thank you, Doge. I was gonna say a thing if you didn't pop off. Okay, I want to check that healing orb really quickly, actually. Did that just like fly back to your team, or what? Okay, don't use your heal orb to counter damage orbs. Just press left click. Like no reason to do that. Like just press left click on them, because you're wasting bigger numbers for smaller numbers. And now your team has a lot harder time engaging because they don't have that heal orb. All right, going around the right. Good. That wall is good. I really like that wall. And you can push on that Reaper, and then you get Wraith out of him. So good. You've gotten a very important resource out for a wall, which isn't important. Heal your team. Good. Coalescence. I mean, it's fine. Like, there's the little things, like you can walk around the wall and then pop it first, and that's going to get you more duration out of it, but that's like really micro and like really picky. Yeah. And then honestly, like you do pretty well. You damage a little bit hard with this Coalescence, but it honestly doesn't matter because your entire team is at full. And had you just been healing your team, I would have told you to do damage Coalescence. No reason to use my ult here. This is over ulted. You're already 3 up, or at least 2 up if you pressed it as like that kill was happening. And you don't need to. You already have Coalescence. Your team is already gonna live, and you're already gonna win this fight. You don't need to press Mayolt here, especially because Mayolt can get you through that choke, and then that's a very good that's a hard choke to get through, especially when they're playing a May of their own. And so now you take point, and you take this point pretty quickly, actually, quicker than they did. So that fight, the reason you won was because you got important abilities out, and then you had your Coalescence before them, and you pushed into them really fucking hard off of that Coalescence, and you used your May. Like, if you have a Coalescence, you can position like you've been positioning with your May like up in front, because you're probably not going to die, and so you can just freeze their entire team, which is what you did, and then you just murdered them. So nicely done. There's always less to say about fights that you win because people aren't capitalizing on your mistakes. Stop taking poke damage. No reason to do so. All right. That Orisa shield can be a Sigma shield. Because by putting it... Because like by putting your Orisa shield there, you've told your entire team, hey, let's fight here behind the payload. That shield can be a Sigma shield. God, this spectate isn't great. There we go. You can see now. That is a really good Sigma ult. Because the people you get are like people that are actually useful to get in it, assuming, I don't know, whatever. The problem with it is that you don't have your own. You kill Lucio though, and then they just slam you into a Mayolt because you don't have a Mayolt of your own, and then they actually over ult you a little bit here. I do want to talk about right here. Oof, no, I can't really fault you that much. The biggest thing here, honestly, you don't have a sound barrier and you don't have a Mayolt. Had you had a Mayolt or a sound barrier, this would have been fine. But you have neither. Honestly, it would have made sense to take a dry fight here and not have Sigma ulted them. With that said, you got 3 ults for 1 Sigma ult. So, like, it worked. I don't really have a definitive thing to tell you here. Because, like, I can't tell you if you would have gotten those 3 ults if you hadn't Sigma ulted. Because it's just, I don't know this team, honestly. So like, it's just a decision y'all have to make, an analysis y'all have to make. If the team's been engaging you with ults and comboing them a lot, then you can probably take a dry fight a lot easier. If you've only got 1 ult and you know they've got 5, goddamn, you can pop your ult to get ults out of them if they've actually been like a little bit more stringent with them. It's just up to you, and it's a judgment call you have to make. Like, that's why I'm not really like, I don't really have an answer for you one way or the other there. Your fish needs to be leaving that fight. I don't know what this spectate is doing because I can't see what's happening. There we go. You don't need to use a Moira Orb there. You can just press left click on them. They're not going to die. Like, that Moira Orb is a really important fucking resource. Good. Healer team, they get pulled. Those walls we are getting over their walls are really good, but communicate them to your team so that the rest of the team can get over them too. You do, however, just burst through the fucking wall, and then you Coalescence to match theirs. Good shit. Or you Coalescence first, actually, to heal your team because they're behind a wall. God, I can't see anything right now.
We bongo that way. And then they just
They
destroyed it.
bongo. Oh yeah,
We
you.
bongo, and it just
When
got
did you bongo?
bongo when the wall was up still.
Oh, you were trying to Bongo Coalescence engage this fight. Okay. If you're gonna Bongo Coalescence, try to
We were calling to Bongo Coalesce.
yeah.
Yeah, but then
that's-
they won it off.
If you're gonna Bongo Coalesce through this choke, you need to get through the choke first, or get the Mayo Wall out first. Because otherwise, what's going to happen is exactly what happens. You just get Mayo Walled off, and then your shit's gonna die. Just like either get through the choke or get the Mayo Wall out first. And then because like yeah, it just fucking dies. And then like you don't get to make use of the bongo nearly as much as well. I can't really see what's happening. That's the ground. And then you mail it. Sure. I can't really tell if you it's good or not because I didn't see the fight. You seem to have gotten people in it, and you're even. So sure. Yeah, like this works. And you don't overult it, actually. So, well done. Takes you a
Big
minute.
freeze.
Big freeze, as the kids say. That's a good spot to hold. No. Yeah, because you're not going to cap this by the time they get back. So, like, there's no reason to take an early fight. No, you did that wall for their speed boost. That's a good wall. I don't know if you did that on purpose, but I'm going to give that to you. Okay. They're coming into this fight with only sound barrier. You have sound barrier high noon. What you can do this fight is you can just you're already high nooning. Wonderful. That's actually good. You can just use sound barrier when people get low because like at most they might get to a May ult or a Sigma ult here, but that's if you're not doing this fight quickly, and your Sigma's actually gonna have their ult first anyways, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, you high noon here, they May wall it. Honestly, oof. If you're gonna do a high noon like that, choose somewhere that can't be May walled so easily. Take a high ground, take some stairs, or wait for them to get Sigma'd, or just like wait for the May wall to come out. Because then they don't have resources that can like super easily counter it. With that said, you've now fucking split the shit out of their team. Please go onto this Reaper Lucio right now, because there's nothing to protect them. Y'all sit on payload, and like you literally just ride the payload. You don't need to win this fight to secure this point. Go kill the Reaper Lucio because they're alone right now. Go take that 2v6. You wall them off actually. So now you've turned this into a 6v4. Perfect. Good. That works as well. Run into them. You take such a weird angle to do that. Just
Wait, what do you mean by weird angle? We had to get over that barrier.
you were here when that wall went up, and you chose to go around it this way. Just run into them. Like just go.
Because I don't know if Sam called out the wall. I think he just walled them up because we're gonna go kill the two stragglers over there. That's why everyone rotated. But then Sam walled them up. I don't know. And then
Yeah.
and then
I mean, like if like
just went
your
forward.
your plans need to change quickly because like y'all take this really long line around here, and that lets the team that lets them get back to this fight. That wall wasn't good. If you were going to use that wall for anything, it needed to go here. Because that would have walled off 4 instead of walling off 2, and then you could have killed these 2 and focused on the 4. You chose the harder fight here for really no reason. I need to sneeze. Yeah, that felt weird. That was a weird sneeze. Whatever. So yeah, just like take the easier fight. You lose that fight literally because you're like, oh, we have it walled off. We don't need to worry about Reaper, and then Reaper walks around the wall. Just take the harder fight. Put a wall there, and even if like they walk around it, you've at least delayed them as you go and kill these 2 people over here. And if you don't kill them, then you get out a Wraith at the very least, which like neat. Those are nice. Yeah. All right, at this point, they've got 5 ults and you've got 3.5. Because like they did more damage to you in that fight. Like honestly, switch to Reaper. That's a good call. That Arsa barrier is fine. Okay. Problem is you get walled off. That Sigma ult I like. And you caught enough people in it to make it worth. The problem is your people got walled off and you didn't respond to it well. How did Fish die? Fish is there. Hey, Fish, Wraith out of fucking Sigma ults. Like, yeah, you can just Wraith out of those. Reaper comes into your team. Your Sigma's ulting right now, so they can't press left shift on them. And so you need to just out damage the fucking Reaper. Or Gabby can go here and boop them this way. Which is actually what they do. Nicely done, Gabby. The problem is your Fish takes so much damage there that they just die. Wraith out of Sigma ults. You can Wraith out of them. You can Ice Block out of them as Mei. Anything that negates CC, like you can Fade out of them. Anything that negates CC or like makes you move, or like makes you a different object, negate Sigma ult. So just negate the Sigma ult. Don't ult when you're 3 down. Like, this fight is not winnable, no matter how hard you might scream it. Because at the very least, they have spawn advantage. Honestly, you lose this map because you Mei ulted. And because your Reaper didn't fade out of it. Now, that's not the only reason you lost. Like, you could have still won this. You could have won this map at any of those last fights. You didn't do it. Like this fight right here was honestly kind of your last chance though, because at this point you're just playing desperation game. You don't have any ults. You only have a supercharger, and they have a Mei ult and an Orisa ult. You're kind of playing hardball. The reason, like, we complain about this later, this wasn't the reason you lost this map. And the reason I called it was because I wanted you to run in really hard with them and for you to just punch the fucking thing that has a fucking ult over here. In a perfect world, you just engage on them really hard and kill them first. But, like, y'all needed to have big spawn, like, engagement kills here in order to win this fight. That's why I called it. Was it the right call? I don't really know. But that's why I called it. In a perfect world, it would have worked, but we don't live in a perfect world. Yeah, like you didn't get the spawn kill off or the entry kill off the Reaper. They Mei ult y'all. Okay. This Pharah needs to be shooting these tanks. Because they're or these people right here. Because they're what's harming your team. By shooting over here, you're not really doing anything. These are the people that need help. Help your team. Don't just shoot at the fucking Orisa because they're an easy target. If you put damage in, you can actually save your team here. Because like they can't push in quite as hard. This fight is super fucking winnable. The problem is they have spawn. At this point, y'all need to switch stall or like just get back to the point quickly because like they're gonna get back first and you have to help your Pharah because like they're dueling a Sigma, they're gonna have a hard time. Rezzing the Moira it works. You should have res someone else and done it sooner. Like, res this Doomfist right now. That'll be a lot more useful to you than this Moira. And we just kind of run around. They have spawn advantage. And so you're fighting this fight down. I can't tell you a lot of what happened in that fight because I couldn't fucking see it. But like, no. You pop it because you have to. And at this point, you're actually taking a 6v6 again because they couldn't kill a Pharah. F on their part. And this is the faithful barrage that you don't get. You get pulled in, you go up top, and then your mercy becomes disconnected. This is both your fault and your mercy's fault. Your tank line is actually doing a really good job right now. Like, they're contesting this very well, and they're making space for you. I don't know what happened to Sam. I think Sam just got frozen, honestly. Oh, no, they didn't. They got flashbanged. Or something of that nature. And you put your Pharah here, where they don't have mercy support. The next thing that happens is you coalesce, you try to get to your Pharah, and you can't. You need to communicate that to your Pharah. If you can't reach them and they can't get heals off of it, your Pharah needs to step forward. With that said, Pharah, you have a giant yellow beam coming at you. You can see if it's hitting you or not. If it's not hitting you, move forward. Like, you either die or you become dead because you're useless. Don't, like, one of these is a choice of yours. The other one happens because you got outplayed. Being dead by being useless is a choice. Get yourself healed, go fucking ult them. Yeah. And then you die because you stand there, not really doing anything. At the very least, like, come out this way. There's another exit over here, I'm pretty sure, isn't there?
No.
Ah,
Okay.
dang. Oh, no, you can go around and go down those stairs, though. Like,
You
just,
have to go like all the way around the stairs. But
Yeah.
I mean, McCree was next to the stairs also.
yeah. Honestly, you shouldn't have landed there. Keep flying. If you lost your mercy, go here. Just go over the bridge and go here. Going here without a mercy just means you're dead. Going here without a mercy with a mercy still means you have a hard time ulting because there's a Kree right there. If you're right here, it's at least a little bit harder to hit you, and your barrage is going to have the same effect. But creating an angle that's a lot of damage that your team can push in off of. Go here.
What if Fish holds right side instead of going up?
Here?
So it's like, yeah, he won't go back a little bit. Go down a little bit more. Yeah, like right, if he's flying right around there, like on the right side instead of going forward too much, he wouldn't get shot by, was it McCree, and he could also help us.
He can get shot by Kree there really easily. If he ults there, he's gonna die.
Where Gabby's at? Like, should he
Oh,
put him
Gabby?
there?
No, yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be a perfect spot.
Yeah,
That's a
I
great
don't
spot.
think I saw the Kree until I was already there.
Press
Like,
tab.
They just recently to him and I didn't know he
yeah.
was there yet.
Press
Yeah,
tab.
that's just my fault for not seeing it.
Like in between fights, press tab. This is a very winnable fight. You just don't win it because of some very small things. And then yeah, you just get Sigma ulted at this point. F in chat. Yeah, honestly, like, y'all played well this map. You just had some very fucking basic, like, not basic, but like very small mistakes in playstyle decisions that made you lose. They played better as a team than y'all did, and they had a better ult rotation. All right, that's gonna be VOD review because I'm tired of talking with my voice. The fuck is, like, who is this person? I don't know any of these people. Oh, I'm looking at the Tamer Esports one, not my own channel. Fuck me. Yeah. Have a good night. We're done. Unless you all have questions.
Yeah, why are you using light mode?
Light mode Twitch?
Yeah.
You can change that?
Oh wait.
Yeah, use
What?
dark mode.
How? How do we change this? I want to do this right now.
I think
Settings.
click your picture in the top right, and then dark theme. No, go back.
Ah,
Just click your picture, and then
you've
dark
made
theme.
my day, Gabby.
Poggers.
Any other questions?
Oh, that was it.
Cool. Watch this void of Twitch. Just look at it go. just keeps going. And I'm gonna stop this before it crashes my computer. There we go. Have a good night. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, that's rude.